Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are putting on our hard hats and stepping straight onto the factory floor to look at how we actually build the output in our world. We're going to do a rapid-fire, highly focused breakdown of the 4 factors of production. So, buckle up because the strict rules of this economic engine might actually surprise you.
All right, let's jump right in with a bit of a mind bender. Think about the stuff you do on the weekend. Maybe you volunteer at an animal shelter, or maybe you spend hours painting just because you love it. Now, in the grand scheme of life, those activities are incredibly valuable, right? But in the cold, strict calculus of economics, they are entirely unproductive. Seriously, no joke. Economics draws a very hard line here. If there is no monetary exchange involved, it literally does not count as production.
Yeah, the source material does not sugarcoat this at all. Activities you do purely for charity or a hobby or, frankly, anywhere money doesn't change hands are strictly labeled unproductive. Now, obviously, it acknowledges that these things add immense value to society and to your life, but without that exchange of cold, hard cash, they simply don't make it onto the economic scorecard.
So, that begs the question, how exactly does economics define production? Well, strictly speaking, production is defined as the creation of utility. But remember our paradox from a minute ago? It's the creation of utility specifically intended for an economic exchange. It's all about taking raw inputs and transforming them into something that satisfies a human want, specifically so it can be traded in the marketplace.
Think about a typical factory cycle. It illustrates this brilliantly. Let's say we're making biscuits. You mix the dough, you bake them, box them, and ship them out. But you know what? That cycle isn't actually complete until someone at the grocery store hands over currency for those biscuits. That physical exchange of money for utility is what officially stamps the entire process as productive.
Now, to create that utility, you need a very specific recipe. And in economics, there are exactly 4 mandatory ingredients. We call them the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and the entrepreneur. And here is the golden rule of the factory floor. Absolutely nothing works for free. Each factor demands a very specific economic reward for playing its part. We're talking rent, wages, interest, and profit. Let's break these down, rapid fire.
Okay, first up, let's look at the physical ingredients of our recipe. We actually have to draw a really sharp line here between what nature gives us for free and what we have to build ourselves. So on one side, we have land, which is the natural factor. And on the exact opposite side, we have capital, the man-made factor.
Let's start with land. Now, in economics, land is a massive umbrella term. It doesn't just mean a plot of dirt you build a house on. It means literally any natural resource available on, above, or below the surface of the earth. Mining for minerals deep underground, that's land. The soil and rivers on the surface, land. Even the air, the wind, and the sunshine, you guessed it, all categorized as land. And whenever land is used to produce something, its specific economic reward is called rent.
Now, contrast that with capital. Capital is strictly the man-made factor of production. The easiest way to think about it is that capital is a produced means for further production. Basically, it's the stuff we make, not so we can consume it right away, but so we can use it to make other things. We're talking heavy machinery, high-tech robotics, server farms, and the actual factory building itself. And when you supply capital to the production process, your economic reward is interest.
So those are our physical factors. But look, heavy machinery and a plot of land don't just magically start making biscuits on their own, right? We need a human engine to drive them, which brings us to our final 2 factors: labor, representing the workers, and the entrepreneur, representing the organizer.
Labor is the foundational human factor of production. And a really important detail here is that it includes any effort undergone during production, whether that effort is physical or mental. So, a carpenter swinging a hammer? That's labor. But so is an accountant crunching numbers in a spreadsheet or an engineer drafting up blueprints. Whether you are using your hands or your mind, if you're putting in the effort, you are providing labor, and your economic reward is wages.
And finally, the entrepreneur. Now, this isn't just another worker on the floor. The source specifically defines the entrepreneur as the organizer and the real captain of the industry. Technically, yes, they are a special kind of labor, but their role is a completely different beast. They are the ones putting the whole puzzle together. They acquire the land, hire the labor, buy the capital, and orchestrate the whole shebang to actually get the work done. Because they take on all that risk and organizational heavy lifting, their specific reward is profit.
And that brings us to the big picture. We've just mapped out the entire engine of economic output. Literally, every single good or service you buy required land, capital, labor, and an entrepreneur to make its way to you. So think about your own career for a second. When you step into the economy tomorrow morning, are you providing the physical or mental effort of labor? Are you supplying the tools and tech of capital? Or are you the real captain of the industry, organizing it all as the entrepreneur? Where exactly do you fit in this massive production engine? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning how the machine works.